today's date is 10 December 2022. I'm here at the Army-Navy game at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I've got the pleasure to sit down and talk to Chuck Walch. Thanks, Chuck, for sitting down and talking to us.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, give us a little bit of background on yourself. Where did you grow up? Where were you born? Go to school, that kind of thing.
Well, I'm originally from Dedham, Massachusetts. Spent most of my, of course, when I graduated from high school, and I decided to join the Navy back in 1981. So.
Okay. And what war or conflict did you serve in?
I served in Desert Storm, Iraqi War, and also Afghanistan War.
What made you join the military? And why?
Well, you know, when I was young, you know, I had a broken family, and you know, things weren't going well in my hometown. So, you know, I figured, you know, instead of going to college, I wanted to serve my country, and decided to join the U.S. Navy.
Okay. Any particular reason you picked the Navy, or?
Wanted to see the world, like everybody else does. So, but yeah, it was a great choice. So.
Any other family members that were military?
Actually, yes. My grandfather, who's of course passed, he served in the military, and then I have two of my younger boys, Chris and Ryan. They both served in the U.S. Navy.
Gotcha. Okay.
So.
All right. What did you do in the Navy? What was your MOS?
I was a retired damage control chief petty officer.
Okay.
Basically a firefighter, fire marshal on board Navy ships.
Okay. Perfect. What kind of training is needed for that? Is that?
Yeah, there's a lot of training that's involved. You know, of course, when you go through boot camp, and then when you get into different schools for being damage control, and then being a training instructor myself at the firefighting school.
Okay.
So it learned a lot, and that's what we did.
Yeah. That's an enlisted position?
It is.
Okay.
Yep.
And you served, what was the first ship that you served on?
I was on, my first ship was the USS Emory S. Land.
Okay.
Back in 1981 to 85.
Okay. What kind of ship was that?
It was a submarine tender out of Norfolk, Virginia.
Okay. What does that mean in tender?
They basically provided services to submarines, okay, whether they're in port or deployed.
Okay. All right. And where'd you go from there?
Went from there. Went to the USS Kidd. USS Scott DDG 995.
Okay.
And that's where I deployed. Made my first deployment overseas during a Desert Storm.
Desert Storm.
Yep.
Okay. So you hadn't deployed before that period. So you're seeing Saddam, he invades Kuwait. We're at a long period where there's no war. From Vietnam to then, there was really not a whole lot other than small things here and there. What are your first thoughts when you hear about that? Did you think that the United States would be involved in any way? Or
of course. Yeah, the U.S. gets involved in everything. Right. So, you know, we just, we got to look out for ourselves as far as the country, as far as the U.S.
Yeah.
and support our allies.
Okay. So. What kind of ship were you on when you deployed?
A DDG.
Okay. Which is?
Guided Missile Destroyer.
Okay. How large? What's the crew on a ship like that?
That was about 240 people.
Okay. What's life like on a ship like that?
I mean, it's small. It's not like a carrier. It's small. Good. You know, the crew is. You know, you get to know everybody. Not like a carrier was 5,000 people. You've got small crew where everybody gets to know each other, and you know, and work well together.
Okay. So you deploy out of where?
I deployed out of Norfolk, Virginia.
How long of a trip is it?
To
wherever you deployed to?
It really depends on what the mission is.
So
you know,
when you deployed to Desert Storm, how long is that?
Well, I mean, when we were over there, that was 6 months, okay, and then it ended up being 9 months, okay, because of the conflict going on over there. Yeah.
So what are the living conditions like on a ship like that?
No, it's okay. It depends on if you're if you're E6 and below, you know, that when you're at E7 or above, you're in Chiefs berthing, or if it's real tight, bunk on bunk on bunk, and but as far as being a chief or an officer, you've got a lot more space.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. And what are your daily duties?
Basically, being a damage control, being on the damage control side of the rate, you basically look after all the firefighting equipment, make sure it's all working well, and you train all the crew for if there's ever a fire on board the ship.
Now, is everybody on the ship trained basically to fight a fire?
Absolutely.
So
yes.
Everybody's a fireman.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody goes through firefighting training when you first come on board the ship, and everybody goes through the same type of training. But in my field, we kind of advance. Once we get on board, we do drills and we do more advanced training with the crew.
Any incidents that stand out from that tour?
No, not really. I mean, we were involved with the Achille Lauro hijacking back in the day, and we blew up a couple of Iraqi gunboats, Iranian gunboats at that time.
Okay.
So it was pretty exciting.
Yeah. No issues though. Nothing that.
No, nothing that stands out.
I guess?
Yeah, pretty routine. Yeah.
And then, so you're gone, what, 9 months, you said?
9 months, yes.
And where are you stationed out of when you're gone? Where were you? What body of water were you in?
We're in the Mediterranean. Yeah.
Okay, just hanging off the coast.
Yep.
Okay. And then from there, eventually you would deploy to an Operation Iraqi Freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So tell us about September 11, 2001. What do you remember about that?
Well, I remember I was actually here in the U.S. when that happened, stationed over in Newport News, Virginia. Okay. And when all that went down, of course, I got called back to sea. I was actually on shore duty, and I went to another command and ended up deploying.
Do you recall so that day has been, many will consider the Pearl Harbor of our time?
Absolutely.
Do you, was there a sense at the time of the significance of that day, or was it something that you didn't really realize until weeks or months later? We're at war for 20 years from that day on. Yeah,
I mean, we're always in war. It doesn't matter where we go, but during that time when that all happened, of course, everybody's mindset changes, and everybody wants to do what's good for the country, and of course I'm there. I'm already serving in the military, so I knew being on shore duty I'd be going back to sea or wherever. So
what's the how long between the time that you're deployed? How long are you on shore duty? In other words, is this a continuous cycle where you're deploy, shore duty, deploy, shore duty, deploy?
Yeah, normally the rotation, 5 years at sea, 3 years at shore, depending on your rate.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So when you deployed for Iraqi Freedom, what kind of ship were you on?
Oh, I was actually with Special Boat Team 20 out of Little Creek, Virginia.
Okay. So, SEALs.
Yeah, we supported the special operations with the SEALs. I was actually the maintenance officer for the Mark V boats out of Little Creek.
What is a Mark V?
Mark V was just another boat that transports SEALs during wartime activities.
It's like a fast boat?
Yeah, it's a fast boat, yeah.
Okay. And your duties for that, or what were your duties?
I was the maintenance officer. I really was really the liaison with the host countries, and making sure that the boats were kept up to as far as the maintenance part of it.
Okay.
So I kind of drove that thing make sure the boats have been the proper upkeep, and they're operational and maintain operational commitment.
So what year did you deploy?
With Special Boat Team 20, it was
Iraqi Freedom. Yeah.
Iraqi Freedoms back in 2000 to 2003.
Okay.
Within that time frame,
Yeah.
different times.
Yeah. So you deployed all through there?
Yeah, there's a couple of deployments. Yes.
Okay. Are you on a when you deploy overseas? Are you on a ship, or are you?
No.
When you get over there?
No, it's not really. It's you're with the detachment that goes over there. Depending on where you're going, you might ride the boat, or you just might go fly from one port to another to meet the boats when they go over. Yeah.
Anything that stands out about any of those deployments?
Yeah, there was a lot of excitement. A lot of things that I saw during deployment. Going up the Tigris River and get involved in some of the conflicts. But other than that, I just it's kind of emotional. A lot of things that happen I've seen. It kind of hurts.
Are you on the ship?
No, it depends on where we're going. But at times I was, and then certain times I wasn't. So if we transited up a different, up the Tigris River or wherever, I'd be part of the crew. And then if we need to go for a different location, different port, I would fly to that port.
I got you.
Yeah.
Any stories you have that you want to share? Good or bad? Doesn't have to be all bad.
Now, as far as what type of stories?
Anything that stands out that.
No, not really. No, not really.
Yeah. How long? So Iraqi freedom was 2003 was when we invaded. So how many times were you in support of that?
Just twice.
Just twice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I retired in 2004.
Okay. Were you part of Enduring Freedom?
I was. Yes.
Same thing.
Same thing.
Mission?
Yep. Same command, same mission.
Same location.
Same locations.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. What's the tempo like on something like that? How often? Is there any downtime, or are you constantly working? Yeah,
no, you're constantly working. There's a little bit of downtime, but you're constantly working and training the crew on the next mission. But there's a little bit of downtime.
What are you doing to keep yourself occupied during that?
Downtime?
Downtime, yeah.
Drink some beer.
Drinking beer.
Have fun. Yeah.
Tell us about Navy SEALs. What it is to work. What's it like to work with them? People see, they're the flavor of the month. It seems like there's movies galore about SEALs. What's it really like to work with the Navy SEALs?
It's really awesome. It's I've been involved in the SEAL community for the last 25 years now. But working with a great group of guys. They're a special type of crew, but we all work together. Doesn't matter if you're not a SEAL, if you support, we're all teammates.
Yeah.
But very, they're very secretive. They don't say a lot what goes on in the missions, but just be able to be beside them and work with them. That's a great honor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the crew on a boat like that?
On a Mark V?
Yeah.
Yeah, I crew is six to 8.
Okay. And you retired in 04?
04, yes.
Looking back on your Navy career, is there anything that stands out? Good, something you will look back on, and that's the thing you remember the most about your career? Or?
I think when I made Chief Petty Officer.
Okay.
That was probably I didn't expect to, the goal is to get advanced as high as you can,
Yeah.
but making Chief was probably my greatest accomplishment, I believe.
Yeah. How do you, so were you married?
I was.
During all this?
Yes, I was.
When you're deployed, let's say for Desert Storm, how do you keep in contact with your family?
Well, back in those days, you really had an MRSAT phone or letters. We didn't have the phone. We didn't have the email. We didn't have all the technology back then that we have now.
Right.
So. You know.
How does that change from now you're in Iraqi freedom?
Oh, now it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy now. You could Twitter.
Yeah.
You know, anything, Facebook, cell phones. Yeah, you could, and they kind of changed up the technology when you're deployed, where you could stay in contact with your family members.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
Your family supportive of what you're doing?
Absolutely.
I think that the military is always, we always thank the military members for their service. We know how much of a hardship it is to deploy and be away from their family, but I don't think a lot of people recognize that when a military member deploys, their families are left behind, especially the wives who now have to basically assume both roles.
Yeah, you have mother, mother, dad, whatever. Yep.
Yeah, so it's tough for the families, and I don't think people recognize that as much.
Yeah.
Looking back on it, how would you say that your wartime experience and your military experience in general, how has that affected your life or shaped who you become?
Well, like I said, growing up young in a broken family, and the accomplishments I've made since joining the military, that really shaped me into the man I am now, and I pass that on to my kids now, and they turned out great.
Yeah.
So
and they both served.
They both served. I mean, I got 3 boys, and I got a stepdaughter, and they're all doing great now.
Yeah.
So I'm happy.
Yeah, good. Let me ask you one more question. So somebody might watch this, because our goal is to preserve stories like yours. Somebody might watch this 50, 100 years down the road. What advice would you give that person based on your military experience?
Well, I mean, you got to look at what you want to do in life, and don't give up. Set a path for yourself. Everybody has dreams. They want to do this, want to do that, but stay strong and go for it, and don't give up. Don't tell nobody. Somebody tells you can't do it.
Yeah.
You just say, no, I'll do it. You got to be positive in everything you do, and you'll be successful.
Yeah. How about somebody that's thinking about, well, I want to join the military, do I not? I probably know the answer to this question already, but what would you tell somebody?
I mean, do your homework. Do your homework. Depending on what service you want to do, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard. Do your research. Talk to veterans. Let them. Ask them. What's the Navy like?
Yeah.
But it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
My boys, they both did 5 years, and they got out. Now they set themselves up. You get out and you use your GI Bill, and
right.
And that just leads to another path in your life. So it's not for everybody, but if that's your dreams, go for it.
Go for it.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. Is there anything else you want to document that we haven't talked about?
No, I'm just here enjoying the Army Navy game for the 25th time.
Okay.
We're here with a group of my fellow shipmates, retirees from Jeb Little Creek, and we're here just to have fun and enjoy the game. Go Navy.
Yeah, go Navy. So you keep in touch with guys that you served with?
Absolutely.
It's a bond you don't break ever.
Nope, absolutely not. And I got a good group of friends. Navy, Army, it don't matter.
Yeah.
I'm a friendly person. I have a great time wherever I go, and I like to meet people and meet new friends.
Great.
So.
Well, on behalf of the Americans of Wartime Experience, I want to thank you for sitting down and talking to us. And I know this comes across as cliche, but it is heartfelt. Thank you very much for your service.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the time, and go Navy.